Solomon's temple stood in Jerusalem for almost 400 years. It was the crown jewel of Jerusalem and the center of worship to the Lord. Understanding the significance of its location, history, and design can greatly add to one's reverence for one of the most holy places in the world. Geography and history. The city of Jerusalem is located in an area of the three major valleys, the Hinnom or the central of Tyropian, and the Kidron Valley. The mount range between the central and Kidron Valley is called Mount Moriah. The peak of the mountain is a large protruding flat rock which is now located under the dome of the rock. According to Genesis chapter 22 verse 2, Abraham was commanded to sacrifice Isaac in the region of the Moriah, connecting the Temple Mount with the significant event. At the time of King David, the area of Jerusalem was controlled by the Jebusites, the city only occupying the southern part of Central Ridge. When David captured the city in about 1000 BC, he made Jerusalem his capital. David then moved the Ark of Covenant to Jerusalem and began preparation for building a permanent structure to replace the portable tabernacle of Moses that has been used for over 400 years. With the ancient city of Jerusalem being fairly small, David purchased the threshing floor of Aruna the Jebusite so he could expand the size of the city. Being higher than the city of David, the hilltop would make a beautiful palace to build the temple of the Lord. Under the reign of David's son, King Solomon, the temple construction began. After 7 years of construction, in about 960 BC, Solomon finished building the temple, most likely built over the some protruding rock of Mount Moriah. Solomon also built himself a new palace just south of the temple and expanded the walls of the city up towards the peak of the Mount Moriah. Tabernacle and the Temple. The Temple of Solomon was modeled after the Tabernacle of Moses. Because of the many similarities between the Tabernacle and the Garden of Eden, many scholars believe that the Garden of Eden was the prototype for the Tabernacle and thus later temples. According to Jewish tradition, Eden was located on a hill with the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil at the center of the hill. The Bible teaches that when Adam and Eve transgressed and partook of the forbidden fruit, they were cast out towards the east. Cherubim and the flaming sword were then placed at the east entrance to prevent them from partaking of the tree of the life, as they live forever in their sin. In order to return back into the presence of God, Israel had to symbolically retrace the steps of Adam and Eve, passing the cherubim and re-entering the garden in westward direction. The tabernacle was set up in the same east to west progression, seeming to replicate to Garden of Eden. The tabernacle was divided into three main courts: the outer court, the holy palace, and the Holy of Holies. The outer court represented the fallen world, while the inner courts representing a more sacred and holy way of life. In essence, as the high priest who represented all of Israel progressed through the tabernacle or temple, he left the world enter a more holy state and then was enabled to re-enter the presence of the Lord, passing the angels or cherubim who were on the veil. Solomon's temple replicated the same three levels progression, doubling the floor plan size of the tabernacle sanctuary for the temple structure.